Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Game 4 of the NBA Finals in Indy tonight. The Pacers hold a 2-1 series lead over the Thunder. ESPN's Brian Windhurst says Andrew Nembhard is leading the Pacers' defensive effort against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai has cooked everybody who's guarded him pretty much this whole season. But in this series, when Nembhard has been on Shai, he's just 7 of 20 shooting. And in Game 3, 6 turnovers, the most he's ever had in a playoff game in his career, just 6 free throws. That is a giant win for Indiana.
Brian Windhurst, coverage of Game 4 at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC. Our Shams Charania reports Nuggets guard Russell Westbrook will not pick up his option for next season. Instead, he'll be a free agent on June 30th. Caitlin Clark should be back on the floor for the Fever when they play the unbeaten Liberty tomorrow. Clark missed 5 games with a left quad strain. Second round of the U.S. Open at Oakmont, Tristan Lawrence with the lead at 6 under, 3 shots ahead of Sam Burns and J.J. Spawn.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Off and running Friday edition of After Further Review presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Taylor Sharp, Cassie Spazzali on the 1s and 2s. Just me solo here from the AFR crew. Matt and Paul both out of town, both back on Monday. We have a jam-packed show for you today, and I am fired up for it. Wall-to-wall baseball, 3 straight hours. We're going to head up to Omaha, talk with Hunt Palmer here in the next segment. Terrio stops by in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll obviously talk plenty of baseball with Ryan. Wes Moore covers Arkansas. He'll stop by in the 4 o'clock hour. We have Ben Mintz, who's heading up to Omaha. He'll be here in the 5 o'clock hour as well for a couple segments. Talk all things College World Series today. I have plenty of thoughts on the game still remaining. We'll give you a final prediction, a final preview. It is 3 hours, wall-to-wall, College World Series baseball, because y'all, we are inside 48 hours until LSU and Arkansas have their showdown. It is practically here. And I'll just be quite honest. There's nothing else I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the College World Series all day long. And for the most part, I've been talking about the College World Series all day long. So we're going to just continue that here. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Before we get to LSU and Arkansas, a quick update from Omaha. Game number 1 is underway. Arizona and Coastal Carolina, the rematch of the 2016 finals. Arizona just takes a 4-3 lead in the top of the 6th. Coastal Carolina made the decision to start their number 3 starter, and then after 4 innings and 45 pitches from him, bring in their ace, Cameron Flukie, out of the bullpen. It has gone off the rails for him here in the 6th inning. He has hit 3 batters. That chased a run home in general. A bunt single was involved in there, as well as then a fielder's choice to chase home the 4th run and the go-ahead run. He's still sitting out there, but certainly a questionable decision from Coach Snall from Coastal to not start his ace, who has been phenomenal all year, had made 17 starts, is on normal rest, was awesome against Auburn in the Super. That might come back to bite them and send them potentially to the loser's bracket, but also jack up their pitching for the rest of the week. That's a first-year head coach, and I'll be honest, that seems like a pretty first-year head coach decision that he made there in this. Long way to go. Top of the 6th, 1 out, but Arizona does lead 4-3. Again, bases loaded, nobody out, 2 hit batters and a bunt single. A hit batter tied the game at 3, and then a fielder's choice chase home the go-ahead run. Arizona also did hit the first home run of the College World Series earlier in this game. Mason White with an oppo shot to to left field. You'll get to know him plenty throughout the World Series. He's an awesome story, just program guy for Arizona. His first year was actually Jay's last season in 2021. So his second trip to Omaha, and he's a really good story that I'm sure you'll hear plenty about. We'll keep you updated on this game as we go, obviously, throughout the show. But let's shift focus now to LSU and Arkansas. And one conversation we have not really had a lot here throughout the week is LSU starting pitching in game number 1. I know I've been asked about this plenty, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on Musso at the Box, whichever. Is there a scenario where LSU doesn't start Cade Anderson, where you go Anthony Ianson in game number 1? So let's explore that. The premise of that question is Arkansas's ability and prowess against left-handers this year. Arkansas is hitting .348 against left-handed pitching. That is near top in the country, if it's not the top mark in the country. They absolutely blister southpaws. And you look at what Ianson did in the regular season against Arkansas, the righty, going 6 shutout with 11 strikeouts. I have a hard time believing that thought has not at least entered Jay Johnson's mind for this game. Now, Ianson would be on short rest. I think that does matter in this spot for a couple reasons. Number one, you're going up against an extremely potent offense in Arkansas. Number two, when you consider the conditions he pitched in a week ago, heat, humidity, you might want to get him that full 7-day recovery. And in this case, if he doesn't pitch Saturday, pitches on Monday, it'd be even an extra day. And I like that possibility an awful lot. The other part of this is, yes, while Arkansas hits .348 off of lefties, the Hawks hit over .300 against righties too. They hit everybody. They're really good. They're arguably the best offense in the country. So does it really matter? That's really what I wanted to find out. So I went back to the regular season series, and I looked at Anderson's outing, and I looked at Ianson's outing. And Cade Anderson, Arkansas hit .304 off of Anderson in that first game of the series. They hit .217 off of Ianson. And I wanted to tell you that first before telling you this. I would start Cade Anderson. And here's why, even with those splits in those numbers. Cade Anderson's 3 earned runs and 7 hits that he gave up can be a little bit deceiving in that outing. 2 of those 3 runs came on solo homers. They strung 1 rally together against Cade Anderson. He did a really nice job scattering those other 5 hits, and even the 7 the 2 hits that made 7 that gave him the 2 home runs. They were in separate innings, all of those things. Arkansas did not do well getting things in bunches off of Cade Anderson because nobody's done well this year, really, getting things in bunches off of Cade Anderson. So that's one reason. This is about execution. It's not about what hand you throw with. And everyone's always going to ask the question, who has the advantage second time around? Is it going to be the hitter? Is it going to be the pitcher? We'll ask Tero about this when he's here in the second hour. That's a guy who played double-digit years in the big leagues, was a great hitter. He'll be a great authority on that. You would think that it would be the hitter because they can do so many different things, right? They can move up in the box, back in the box. All of that can take the break out of a slider or curveball a little bit more. It gets you on it earlier. They have more ways to adjust potentially than a pitcher. But there's an old adage in baseball, and I think it rings true. Good pitching beats good hitting. Cade Anderson's a really good pitcher. Cade Anderson could be the number 1 overall pick in the draft come July, and he's, for all intents and purposes, a lock to be a top 5 pick in the draft. That's a guy who is probably not going to spend more than a year in minor league baseball. He will be fast-tracked to the pros. That's a guy who, if he's executing, it doesn't matter how many times someone has seen him, he can wreck your day in a hurry. Because he's just that talented. He can mix 4 pitches. And he's already had success against this lineup with them not being able to string things together. He's on his normal rest. And the other reason I like it is Cade Anderson is a little bit pissed off. Cade Anderson looks at a week ago against West Virginia and says, that wasn't my best. And my take on that is certain circumstances contributed to that. For 5 innings, Cade Anderson was as Cade Anderson as he could have been. 5 innings, 1 earned run. I mean, like 6, 7 strikeouts so forth. I mean, he was awesome. Then he had to sit for half an hour, go back out into 100-degree heat after LSU scored 7 runs, and he's not himself. Then he has to sit for another half hour. Well, LSU puts up 6 more, go back out into 100-degree heat, and he wasn't himself. But what he did was he battled hard and got LSU through 7 innings and saved your staff. He's not happy about that. There's been 2 other instances this season when Cade Anderson, you can look at it and go, maybe he just really wasn't himself. The first one was against Mississippi State on a Thursday night. He went 4 1/3 and gave up 5 earned. The very next week, complete game shutout against Oklahoma with 14 Ks. How about the Alabama? With the Alabama game. Almost an identical line to his outing against State. This one was 5 1/3, 5 earned runs. The very next week, 7 1/3, 2 earned, 11 Ks against Tennessee. The bounce back from Cade Anderson has been impeccable this season. For all of those reasons, I go with him no matter what Arkansas's average is against left-handed pitchers. Because if Cade Anderson is on his game, which he has been more often than not, he has been one of the most, if not the most consistent pitchers in college baseball. That's why he's risen draft boards to the heights that he has. LSU has lost 2 starts all year when Cade Anderson has pitched. Auburn and at A&M. That's it. You got to go with your guy. And that's not a slight to Anthony Ianson. He's been phenomenal. But you have to go with your guy in this game. Take a lesson right now from Coastal Carolina, who didn't, and decided to bring their guy in from the bullpen. And now they trail in the bottom of the 6th inning. Don't leave anything to chance. Jay Johnson normally doesn't. I think you see the battle of the lefties again with Zach Root and Cade Anderson. I think it's the right call. And I think you're in for one hell of a matchup between these 2 teams. And we're going to talk all about it as we go through today's show. As we said, Hunt's fixing to come up. We got Tero. We'll go up to Arkansas, get a check-in on the Hogs, how they've changed, all of that. Mincy. It's wall-to-wall baseball here on After Further Review, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar on a Friday. Almost said Thursday. It's a Friday. We'll grab a break, come back, head up to Omaha. Hunt Palmer next.
After Further Review.
On Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can follow him on all the social medias. I love it. Squirrel Burrell is back rocking with the G team. Elite LSU sprinter. Made the announcement. It's on social media. You can see the photos on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or all the spots. Gordon's done an awesome job with the G team, giving great NIL opportunities to athletes, not just Tigers, but so many athletes across the state of Louisiana, both the revenue sports, the Olympic sports, all of it. You can learn more about all the members of the G team by going to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, and love telling you about all the content that they do as well. Gordon sit down with members of the LSU baseball team recently. Kim Mulkey. The Garage is the podcast studio there at Gordon's office, so you want to see all that, you can catch it on YouTube or any of their social medias. Whatever you do, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Louva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake, champion health partner of LSU Athletics. But they've also been a great partner of ours. Our Lady of the Lake is sponsoring our coverage in Omaha. They're our title sponsor of our coverage in Omaha with Hunt Palmer. So we're able to give you boots on the ground coverage there. And the truth is, when it comes to the mission of the Franciscan missionaries of Our Lady, the sisters, that's continued to trickle down through all the different generations and all of the different parts of the FMOL health system, which includes Our Lady of the Lake in Baton Rouge or Our Lady of the Lourdes, many of the different hospitals and clinics, and even the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, the standalone Children's Hospital in Baton Rouge. You see those touch points of access and convenience that everybody wants, and high-level health care. The same health care that the LSU student-athletes are receiving, that the LSU students are receiving, is the health care that you and I receive from Our Lady of the Lake. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar.
All right, back here after further review on a Friday, represented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Talking wall-to-wall College World Series here today. Let's head up to the College World Series in Omaha, or I guess Council Bluffs, but it's basically the same thing. That's where we find Hunt Palmer. He's there anchoring our coverage, LouisianaSports.net, of course, for the Hunt Palmer Show as well. It's powered by Our Lady of the Lake, GoFlow IV Spa, and Yingling Light. Hunt, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm quite well. I'm kind of wrestling with the rest of my evening. I'll let you kind of pick. Should I go to the stadium and sit in the press box and watch these two teams tonight play? Should I go to Barrett's, eat some dinner amongst LSU fans? Should I hang out in the sports book at the Ameristar and watch golf and baseball? I have options, Musso, but I'm not sure what we're going to settle on.
You really do. Look, I would say golf if Sam Burns hadn't already gone out there and shot a 65, which was phenomenal today. So I think you should go to the park, actually, Hunt. I think you should get an early dinner, go to the park, take in about 6 innings, and then go to Barrett's.
I like that plan, and I think that might be what we get into. We'll see. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but tonight was stress-free, so I'm going to enjoy that.
How have the first few days been over there? What's the mood kind of been like? Tiger fans arriving already? How's it look out there? Set the scene for us.
Yeah, so I was at the park yesterday for LSU practice, did the Arkansas press conference and the LSU press conference. Very lighthearted from the coaches and the players. They, were just kind of in their welcome to Omaha phase here. I walked the park. Not a lot of activity, not a lot of activity. I have not been over there today. Was anxious about getting everything set up for the show. But I can tell from the crowd on TV that it's lively and boisterous here for the afternoon, and I expect the night-to-night session to be jam-packed as well. I've gotten some texts from LSU fans that have arrived, that have already gotten a sandwich at Barrett's, that are heading over to the park, and we can see the Jello shot numbers are climbing.
Yeah.
So LSU is expected to be here in some pretty strong numbers. I think that Arkansas is going to travel really well for tomorrow's game as well. I was talking to an Arkansas media member who's actually driving tomorrow. It's like a 6-hour drive, 6 p.m. game. You're on the road at 9 o'clock. You can get here in pregame a little bit, so not as big a travel deal for Arkansas. So I think it's going to be an incredible environment.
Yeah, it is a short trip. That's what I was going to say whenever you mentioned the crowd and how Arkansas will be represented. Let's talk about that game a little bit, and before we get out of the segment, I'll get some thoughts on the rest of the field. But LSU, Arkansas, that's what obviously everybody's really interested in. I talked about it in the first segment because I've been asked about it, and if I've been asked about it, I'm sure you've been asked about it. Do you think there's any chance LSU doesn't start Anderson on Saturday and goes with Ianson, given Arkansas's prowess against left-handed pitching?
I think there's a chance. I don't think it's a huge one. I think Cade Anderson at the press conference yesterday, he was asked about facing Arkansas, and he did kind of answer the question. Jay didn't announce anything and didn't practice today. And there are reasons why you might go with Ianson. Arkansas strikes out a ton against right-handed pitching. Ianson handcuffs them in a big way in Baton Rouge. They worked Anderson hard, so he did punch out, I think, 9 or 10 in that game. So I think there's a possibility. And the other piece to the puzzle is that Ianson bounces back better. That's why they started him on Friday, the regional, because they knew they could get something out of him on Monday, which they ended up needing. And they didn't feel like Anderson was a great candidate for that. You may need your ace on Thursday. If you get into the loser's bracket and trying to pitch your way to the championship series, we saw that with Paul Skeens and Brett Lauder in 2023 for both teams. And maybe the bounce back on 2 days short rest is better for Ianson. But he's had a heavy workload. I don't think there's a wrong decision here. I laid out the case for Ianson on my show. I can certainly make a great case for Cade Anderson as well. That's the beauty of the situation LSU is in, is that they do have options. But I believe, based on context clues, that you will see Anderson tomorrow.
What do you think the blueprint is for LSU on the mound? I mean, whether it's Ianson or Anderson, is this one of those things where you look at this and you go, man, you'd love 6, 7 out of those and just turn it over to one guy in the bullpen? Like, would you love to go, Anderson Evans or Anderson Shores and just get out of it with 2? What do you think Jay's thinking in that regard?
You want length out of your starter. And to get that length, my sincere belief is that you're going to have to strike your way out of a couple of jams. Arkansas is going to put traffic on the bases. You're going to have to get some big strikeouts. The park will help you some, but Arkansas is too good an offense. Just go out there and put them in a blender. You're not Paul Skeens here. So and the beauty is Anderson and Ianson obviously are top 3 in the country in strikeouts. So that's great. Anderson's second strikeout in Omaha. He'll lead the nation, and he'll finish with the most strikeouts in college baseball this year. But I think the blueprint is for one of those guys to go a long way. And I just have a hunch that on maybe 360 bias, I think Chase Shore is going to have to get some huge outs. Yep. And I think what you saw on Sunday night in the Super being the last thing that Jay Johnson saw, and he was asked about Chase Shores earlier this week and kind of went and exhaled and his eyes kind of lit up like that. I just think they're going to trust him. I don't know how he feels about Callan right now. 4 of his last 5 outings have been bad. And he's going to say in the press conference, we still have the world of confidence. Look at his numbers. He's been great. But I don't know how he feels about him. So I think it's going to have to be matchup dependent. If you need a lefty, I think Cooper Williams is probably first. And I just feel like Chase Shores is an option. And I wouldn't rule out Casey Evans either. This is such a monster game to win. If you've seen on LouisianaSports.net, I said it, like teams that have lost their first game in Omaha only 4 times in the last 45 years. They've recovered to win the national championship. So if you feel like Evans is better than Callan or Shores or whoever you might want to put out there, I wouldn't rule him out for the last 5 or 6 outs of this game either.
Where's your confidence level in Zach Callan?
It's not quite this high. It just isn't. I don't think he's going to unravel out there, but that's 4 outings, not 2. Like, I was okay after College Station. My opinion was that in both games, he made some decent pitches. The triple down the right field line was a pretty good pitch off the plate, breaking ball. And the home run that he gave up to Sorrell to surrender the lead in Game 3, I mean, you have to throw strikes. He threw it on the outside part of the plate at the knees, and a top 5 future draft pick hit it out of the ballpark. That wasn't a big deal. He was serving him up against South Carolina. That was a terrible outing. And then he didn't have it against Little Rock. And it was a great story. It's Little Rock. Get him out. And he didn't. So I'm not quite where I once was. And I just don't think in a one-run game with 5 outs to go tomorrow, he's going to go to Cal, and that's my opinion. I
don't disagree with you. I'm kind of in the same boat as you are there, Hunt. Let's flip it over to the offense. Can LSU score in the Chuck? Can they score at Chuck Schwab?
They can. They can. Root's tough. I had Andrew Ellis on my show earlier today. I said, is his velocity way up? He said, yeah. I mean, it was 92, 95 most of the February, March month, and then all of a sudden you bump 99 last week. Now, he was a man possessed for some reason last week, and I don't expect to see quite that level of animation from him, and maybe not 99, but he's good. And LSU, we know, has just had its issues against some left-handers. They had some good at-bats against Griffin Kern last week, and that's a positive step. This guy's better than Griffin Kern. So, I think they can score. The problem is if you do create some momentum against Root, say in the 4th or 5th, and you start to maybe put a 2-spot up and maybe put some guys on base, here comes Gackle, and that's a whole different animal from the right side, and that's plus stuff and an incredible slider. And, there's not a point you can get to in the first game against Arkansas where you can break them from a pitching standpoint. They can just go to the next guy. They got 6 guys they can go to that's going to be a tough at bat. So do I think they're going to score 8 tomorrow? I don't. Do I think 5 could win it? I do. Do I think 4 could win it? I do, in the right conditions with the right start from Anderson. So it's going to be tough, but they can do it.
Yeah, everybody makes so much about Arkansas's offense, and you should. I mean, they're elite, and they could score and hurt you in so many different ways. The way they've pitched in the postseason has just been the best they've pitched all year. And they haven't pitched bad all year. Don't don't misunderstand me, but they have been on another level here through their 5 postseason games. Hunt, X factor on offense for you for LSU. It sounded like Chase Shores was kind of your one out of the bullpen. So on offense, your X factor for LSU.
I wrote this today. This is a jaw-dropping statistic that I dug up this morning. When LSU wins, Derek Curiel hits 398. When LSU loses, he hits an even 200. That's hard to ignore. And, sometimes this park plays big and you can't drive it out of the ballpark. But down and hard always plays. And Curiel hits a lot of low-line drives. And I don't know if they're going to put him down there at the bottom of the lineup against the left-hander like they did last week or stick him up at the top where he belongs. But that guy needs to hit, and he can hit in any conditions in any ballpark. He needs to be on base. He needs to be creating runs with the guys behind him, whether that's at the top of the order with Jones and Dickinson and Milam around him or towards the bottom where he might get bunted over by Braswell and knocked in by Stanfield or whoever's up there at the top. Whatever way, when he hits, LSU generally wins, and the very rare instances where he doesn't, they struggle, and that statistic really blew me away.
Yeah, that's a good find. Really nice pull there. I was not aware of that. I mean, gosh, the thing is 398. I mean, that's basically what you saw for the first, 2/3 of the year when LSU was beating everybody. So it's been a sensational freshman year for Curiel. All right, Hunt, we'll get you out of here on this one. Let's flip it over to the other side of the bracket. Who do you favor on that side to kind of come out and make the championship series?
Meaning completely opposite LSU or in the UCLA Murray game?
Completely opposite LSU. Like on the other side, yeah. Arizona, Coastal, those guys.
I probably favor Oregon State. Coastal has 3 good starters, which is a great place to start. I haven't seen since they were up 3-2. I just walked up to the room, and it's not on my TV just yet. But I like Oregon State because they got Whitney at the front of the rotation. They've got superstars in the lineup with Arquette and Turley are great players. So I tend to favor them. I don't give a great chance to Louisville. I think they're a nice story, and Dan McDonald's been here before, but this is not one of his best teams. So I'll take Oregon State. If it's Oregon State and Coastal in the winners bracket, that'd be a hell of a ball game.
It would be. Coastal, who pitched 2 of their 3 starters in this ball game, which is certainly interesting, the way they approach that. But we'll see. Their uniforms are great. All right, Hunt, we appreciate you hopping on, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Go get yourself a cold one and enjoy the time in Omaha. I'm sure we'll check in down the road.
Sure will. Thanks, Musso. Have a great one.
You do the very same. Hunt Palmer, he's there anchoring our coverage for 104.5 ESPN, for LouisianaSports.net. Of course, again, that's brought to you, titled by Our Lady of the Lake, and also presented in conjunction with GoFlow, IV Spa, and Yingling Flight. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. An honor for Chris Stanfield, a very well-deserved honor for Chris Stanfield, and we'll go around the SEC. That's next here on After Further Review.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery, because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, It doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
Man, a huge congratulations to LSU center fielder Chris Stanfield. He was named by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association on Friday as the inaugural winner of the Tony Gwynn Community Service Trophy. It's voted on by the Baseball Writers Association, their board, collegiate baseball coaches, and media members. And it's a well-deserved honor. I mean, Chris Stanfield was on this show earlier in the season talking about the work he did with the Miracle League and his Be the One campaign. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's not just that. He's also volunteered his time to dozens of other charitable endeavors, not just at LSU, but also in his 2 years at Auburn. This is not just a one-year award for Chris Stanfield. He is a guy who has always taken the time, and he talked about this when he was on the show, always taking the time to impact as many different causes as he can. And look, I don't need to sit here and tell you how admirable that is. I think everybody understands that and recognizes that. But I mean, when you look at his work with the Miracle League, just isolated to that organization in 2 years at Auburn, his campaign, which it had to do, if I remember the story correctly, it had to do with his hat falling off all the time in the game. He had the dreads at Auburn, but they were different, and it was hard for his hat to stay on him with all the diving catches or just him running sometimes. His hat would always fall off. It became a thing at Auburn, and he used that as the basis of his campaign. And every time his hat would fall off, he would donate a certain amount of money, and then the Auburn fans got involved. And in 2 years, his campaign at Auburn raised $10,000 for the Miracle League of East Alabama. And then this year at LSU, again, he launched the Be the One. It's a play on his jersey number 1 campaign. He donated $100 to the Miracle League in Baton Rouge for every game he has an extra base hit or a stolen base. Chris Stanfield has collected 18 extra base hits this year and 5 stolen bases. That is a total of $2,300 that he himself has donated to the Miracle League of Baton Rouge, in addition to all of his other, charitable contributions and giving of his time and volunteer work. So, I mean, look, that's what it's all about, man. Like that is what it's all about. When you sit there and you look at Chris Stanfield's story and what he's done in 3 years in college in this arena, it's just one of those things where it goes, how could he not win that award, right? It made all the sense in the world. And congratulations to him, the inaugural Tony Gwynn Award. That's a great thing that the Collegiate Baseball Writers Association founded and started, and I love that. Also, congratulations to the other 3 finalists. The other 2 finalists, Michael Brooks, an infielder from Kansas, and Tony Castonguay, a catcher from Northern Colorado. Thank you to those guys for all the time and charity efforts that they put forth as well. Chris Stanfield, though, does take it home, and it's nice to see him be rewarded for everything that he's done, even though that's not why you do it. But it is nice to see him recognized. Maybe recognized is a better word than rewarded. Recognized for all the charitable work that he has done. And look, man, here's to hoping he bangs out a few more extra base hits, steals a few more bases while the Tigers are in Omaha. And look, you can get involved as well as LSU fans. You just they have the website for Stanfield's. It's Be the One. Be the One is his campaign, and then you can obviously get involved in donations as well. All right, let's shift gears here and we'll go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
John Calipari in Arkansas basketball, they added another player to the roster on Thursday evening. This one is from Bosnian center Elmir Zafik. He officially signed with the Razorbacks. Hog Sports was the first to report on that. 7-foot, 265-pound center. Previously played professionally in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Not even going to attempt to pronounce the name of his team. Played sparingly there, but really made a name for himself in the FIBA U18. Averaged a double-double. He's the 13th player added to Calipari's roster for 2025.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Ryan O'Connor and the Bulldogs baseball squad, they stay hot in the transfer portal. They add Maddox Webb, a closer from the Citadel. As a sophomore, racked up 5 saves and tallied up 61 punch-outs in 55 2/3 innings. He's the 7th commitment in the initial transfer portal class for Brian O'Connor.
The Florida Gators.
Florida baseball pitchers Liam Peterson and Aiden King on Friday were invited to compete for the USA Baseball National Collegiate Team out there training camp in Cary, North Carolina in late June. This is Peterson's second invitation. It is King's first. Peterson is 11-10 so far in 2 seasons with a 5.3 ERA. Aiden King, as a freshman, led Florida in ERA this year at 2.5, 9.7 strikeouts per 9. Both those guys will go represent Team USA.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And 4 more Tennessee baseball players have entered the transfer portal on Friday morning. That comes from GoVols 247. Redshirt sophomore righty Austin Hunley. Redshirt senior outfielder Colby Backus. Freshman two-way player Braden Sharp and sophomore righty Thomas Crabtree. They have all elected to enter the portal. None of them played very much. That's why they're entering the portal. But that makes 7 total for Tennessee. They have signed 4 out of the portal so far. All of those pitchers. There you have it. That is around the SEC as I just knock the mic all over the place. Update from Omaha. They have entered the top of the 8th inning at the Schwab. Coastal Carolina is pitching Arizona 2 outs in the top of the 8th batting. We are still knotted at 4-4. This has been a fantastic baseball game, back and forth. And I'll tell you right now, if it's any indication of what is to come in this College World Series, we are in for a dandy. And I think that's honestly what everybody's hoping for with the parity that you've seen in the field. Credit to Cameron Fluke, Coastal Carolina's ace. He really has weathered the storm that came his way in the 6th inning where, he just hit everybody under the sun in that inning, but he's made it now into the 8th. He's at 67 pitches. Again, made his first relief appearance. That's their ace. Made his first relief appearance of the season in this game. And just punched out the Arizona hitter on a disgusting slider at 82 miles an hour. So they will head to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the order due up for the shots, 7, 8, and 9. Although that part of the order has been really, really productive. Just looking up there, that brings 5 hits this game to the plate. It's been a back and forth affair. Coastal, they'd love to scratch across 1 here. Let Fluke go back out there for the 9th and and slam the door and move themselves into the winner's bracket. Louisville and Oregon State later tonight in Omaha. That's your nightcap. Should see Dax Whitney, the freshman sensation ace for Oregon State, going up against Louisville. And you know what? Speaking of Louisville, them playing Oregon State might not be the most newsworthy thing about their stay in Omaha. They have a player who might have to leave the College World Series only to come back on the same day. We'll tell you why next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, like they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You know, one of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
All right, welcome back in after further review on a Friday presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're keeping an eye on the College World Series. Bottom of the 8th, Arizona and Coastal tied at 4. Louisville and Oregon State will play the nightcap. And there's a player on Louisville's team who, if they go far enough, will have to leave the College World Series and then turn around and come right back. Taylor, you brought this to my attention this morning because I actually have not seen it. Care to explain what's happening with our guy? It's Tanner
Shiver.
Tanner Shiver. What's his deal?
Well, shout out to Tanner, whether Louisville wins it all or not. Our guy Tanner's going home with a ring, and that's because he is scheduled to get married next Friday, June 20th. Yeah,
congratulations.
That's right.
Congratulations,
round of applause for
Tanner.
Yes. The problem is, if you and I were kind of looking at the scheduling. If things fall a certain way, there's a chance Louisville plays Thursday the 19th. They're off Friday, but they play again on Saturday. So he's getting married back in Kentucky. He is also the first baseman, not the starting first baseman, but he plays in the infield for Louisville. He will have to fly home Friday morning, get married. He says at 10:30 at night after the reception, he's going to try and get on a plane to get back to Omaha before midnight, then wake up and play the next day. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is his fiance. She wasn't thinking clearly. But no, because the honeymoon was scheduled for June 21st.
Yeah.
He's working on moving that if they have to play that game on Saturday.
Probably should do that.
She doesn't know where they're going. He has surprised her with it, and he has already paid for it.
So that's his fault.
So he's moving that around. But while we were in break, I was pulling this up. This date was picked back in December of 2023. He had graduated from Tennessee Tech and actually thought his baseball career was over. He is a fifth-year senior at Louisville. He did not realize he was going to play. Louisville reached out to him. He was excited. He signed. Wasn't really thinking about the wedding. So our guy Tanner, just not thinking about it, could have quite the predicament on his hand.
So that does add another layer to this story. Because here's my thing. When I first heard about this, I'm just like, scheduling your wedding when you're a college baseball player in the middle of the College World Series is ridiculous.
Yeah, not a great idea.
That's just horrible. Like, what are you doing? Whether it's his fiance that picked the date, whether it's him, that's just really bad planning by two young kids getting married. Quite honestly. But now that I know that he thought his baseball career was over, I still think this is horrible, and I'll explain why. Because here's the deal. We saw something very similar to this at LSU in 2023 with Cade Beloso.
Yep, we did.
He did not know if he was going to come back for the 23 season. He was set to get married. He made his decision to come back, and he and his fiance, now wife, moved the wedding to November. Move the wedding. Move the wedding. If you want to get married on that day, go sign your papers, whatever. Move the wedding. Move your honeymoon. Be able to enjoy your day. And also don't hamper your team. And also plan a little bit better.
Fully paid for the honeymoon already.
That is aggressive, by the way.
She doesn't know where they're even going.
Love that. I think that's actually a really good move by him. Like, this guy, obviously, romance dude, 100%. Like, Cassie, would you like to be surprised with the honeymoon?
Oh, yeah.
See, like that, like that's a really, really good move. Also tells me he probably comes from money. Because I don't think, a fifth-year senior in college is paying for this honeymoon just out of pocket, unless he's in it.
You don't think he was balling with the Tennessee Tech?
I was about to say, well, unless he's in it with that guy from Tennessee who we talked about yesterday, who's a scam artist. Which I doubt this guy is. Seems like a pretty stand-up gentleman. But you gotta. You can move things. My sister and brother-in-law had to plan their wedding twice because it was during COVID. Like, you can do this again. You can find another venue. You can get married at the same place. I think leaving your team is also suspect as well. I'm just going to say that.
I hate to be this guy. Maybe I don't hate to be this guy. I hope this happens. I hope this scheduling conflict occurs, and maybe other people will learn from the situation.
Also, what is this guy talking about he's going to try?
Yeah, he doesn't have a scheduled flight home yet. He said he's going to try to get on a plane and come back.
Louisville's got to have a private jet that can hook our guy up with if he's going to get married.
Because the wedding's in Louisville. Like, you would think they have some sort of...
Yes, like they have to... Their donors have a jet. Their AD doesn't fly coach. Like, they have to have a jet. They're a Power 4 athletic institution. They have to have a jet that they could loan this kid so he can go get married and go back and play for his team. Now, all of that sounds great in theory. I don't think Louisville's making the championships. I don't think they're actually that good. I
Maybe
think
that was his thought when he signed with him. He was like,
I
this
mean,
ain't going to be a conflict.
They kind of snuck their way into the tournament a little bit and got hot and made a run. That's great. I like Oregon State a lot tonight, and Louisville probably falls into the losers bracket, and they could be 2-Q here, which, man, I would love if the ACC team went 2-Q after all the mess they talk, but we'll approach that bridge when it comes to it. Congrats to Tanner Shiver, though, and his fiance on the impending nuptials whenever those may take place. You know what? Hopefully, Louisville does go 2-Q, and this guy can go enjoy his day with his bride and awesome.
It ruins things.
Quickly, where do we think the surprise honeymoon is? I'm saying Fiji. What do you think?
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. Congrats to the happy couple. Ryan Tero is next. We're talking College World Series with the Riot on AFR.
AFR.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
I'm Doug Brown. Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers have a 2-1 series lead on the Thunder. ESPN's Udonis Haslem.
Indiana's imposing their will on OKC. When you look around and you look at the couple quarters that OKC has had in the past, giving up 40 points in the second quarter last game, 32 points in the fourth quarter last game, they're imposing their will and they're weighing on them.
Udonis Haslem, Game 4, Pacers and Thunder. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC. There's an arrest warrant in Florida for former NFL wideout Antonio Brown. He's charged with attempted murder after a shooting at a Miami celebrity boxing event back in May. Brown was detained by police after that shooting and released a few hours later. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tomorrow night for the Oilers and the Panthers in Edmonton. That series now tied at 2. At the U.S. Open, J.J. Spaun holds the second-round lead at 4 under. He's one shot ahead of Tristan Lawrence and Sam Burns, who shot a 65 today.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
All right, hour number 2 after further review, off and running. Musso in for Moscona. Taylor Sharp, Cassie Spazzali along for the ride. Glad you are as well. We are wall-to-wall LSU Arkansas, wall-to-wall College World Series here on today's AFR. An update actually for you from Omaha. Coastal with a 3-spot in the bottom of the 8th inning, highlighted by a 2 RBI bases clearing double to make it 7-4. They need 3 outs against Arizona's lineup. Their ace, Cameron Flukie, on the mound in relief. Second pitch of the inning there, 96, right down the heart. They're 3 outs away from advancing to the winner's bracket. We'll continue the conversation around the College World Series. Welcome in former Tiger Ryan Tero, former Tiger and big leaguer Ryan Tero. He's normally here with us in studio, but some duty called down in New Orleans. He's good enough to give us a few segments today. Ryan, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Use, what's happening, bud?
It's the best time of year. I mean, you know, my guy, I literally walled off 3 hours to just talk about baseball today. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat already for Saturday night, so we're feeling good. First thing I have for you actually is something I'm sure you've been asked hundreds of times, but you lived this, you played in it. What have these last few days been like for the team as they get settled in Omaha and prepare for Game 1?
You know, when you start the season, and when I say start the season, I'm talking about the fall. That Omaha is should and is the discussion and the talk, you know, every day. I mean, you practice your butt off, you lock in and have a good season in order to have an opportunity to go there, you know, and win that tournament. So, man, you've checked one box, you know, you've reached it, you've gotten there, but I'll tell you what, it's going to suck if they don't win. You know, it's a great trip and it's awesome, but you want to go there and you want to win the thing. You know, but hats off to the guys for doing it and checking that first box, and now it's time to finish the deal.
Does it immediately feel different when you get there? Like right when you step off the plane, does it immediately feel different?
Well, yeah, because, you know, everybody has a chance to win the thing, you know, and it's been proven time and time again. It's not necessarily the best team, you know, that wins it. It's the hottest team that wins it, and it's the team that can focus for that long period of time. You know, that was always one of Skip's main things is you have to lock in when you're there. And it's different for every team, but keeping the guys, and we're talking about, you know, 18 to, you know, 23, 24-year-olds, so you're talking about kids, but keeping them focused for that duration of that tournament, you know, is not an easy thing to do. And it takes leadership on the team and maturity from the guys, but also the coaching staff has to have been there before and really kind of understand, you know, the demands. You've got autograph signings, you've got pictures, you've got, you know, events that are planned for you. For a lot of these guys, they've never done that stuff before. So, you know, I think that's something that's not really talked about a whole lot. but your day changes. Baseball players are creatures of habit. You know, we live Groundhog's Day every single day. Guys eat the same thing. They wear the same underwear, for Christ's sake. We saw Kate Anderson talking about that. You know, but when you get to Omaha, you know, there's a wrinkle thrown into everything. There's different schedules, right? So the preparation changes. And then that falls squarely on the shoulders of the coaches, man. Can you have the guys in a good frame of mind, ready to play, and keep everything as normal as possible?
We have you for a couple segments, so I kind of wanted to split it up, offense and pitching. Let's start with the offense, because that's been under the microscope plenty for LSU this year. I think, though, when you look at the last 2 weeks, that conversation has to start with Stephen Milam. I mean, postseason Milam's in full effect. You obviously have a relationship with him. What have you noticed different from him in the postseason as opposed to maybe when he struggled through conference play?
You know, I try to leave the guys alone. You know, during the season, I know how it's hard having multiple voices in your ear, and so I respect that. But Stephen and I had a conversation about 2 weeks ago, and, you know, he was just, you know, hitters go through that little lull, man. And I told him, I said, dude, it looks like you're on every pitch. You know, you're not chasing out of the zone, and, you know, you're just a click underneath. And I said, to me, your barrel looks lazy. So what the hell is that supposed to mean? I said, it just looks lazy. It looks like you commit, and then you're not. Your barrel's not attacking the baseball. I said, do with that what you will. You know, I don't really know what to tell you to do other than a few little drills. But the biggest change I've seen in him is his top hand is aggressively attacking the baseball. And you're seeing balls that are backspun, you know, both line drives as well as balls in the air. But look, it is hard for a guy that hits on one side of the plate. It is ultra hard for a guy that's a switch hitter. Yeah. You know, so we need him now, and he's swinging the bat much better, and you see how a hot Stephen Milam can change that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's driven an 11 so far in the postseason and he's hitting 421. I mean, it seems like that's going to be a thing for him when the calendar flips to June, that he's going to kind of turn it on. You know, I remember we were sitting here early season. Mm-hmm. I mean, gosh, it might have been one of the weeks leading in when we were doing when you do the thing where you go through position by position and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And you highlighted Ethan Fry back then and said, that's the guy. Like, if he gets going, you can put him behind Jones. You can use him in so many different parts in the lineup. What ignited him this season to have the breakout year?
I don't know, because I remember an interview with Jay saying, you know, the guy's got like one career homer and he's got the most power on our team. It just makes no sense. Dude, a little confidence goes a long way offensively. And you always want the guys to feel, I say sexy in the box, you know, but you want them to feel like they belong and they own that little space. And the biggest change I've seen with him is when he steps in that damn box and when he glares out there at the pitcher, like, he looks just super confident. Not trying to do too much. A guy with his size and strength is really important. Understanding that, you know, you've done the hard work and genetics have given you the ability to hit the ball out of any ballpark on the planet. You know, and so you don't have to create that power. The reason why he's a freak for me, though, Muse, is because of all the tools. I mean, when he was running around the bases for that triple the other day, you know, you just look at that and go, you could put him on a soccer field, he would probably dominate. You could put the pads on him, and he'd probably be the best tight end in the country. Like, this dude's a freak, man. I mean, just a physical specimen that is, man, I hope we can keep him, to be quite honest with you. You know, if I'm a scout, I'm going, okay, you know, from projectability standpoint, it's off the charts for him.
That's definitely the type of player you always worry about losing, because the word you just said, they draft so much off of projectability and potential and what they can do with you when they get you in an organization. What about an X factor for you on offense, maybe for LSU and Omaha? Is there one that really stands out where you go, man, if you get a little extra from that guy, they can really make some noise?
Well, I think we saw it in Game 3 of the Super. And Josh Pearson came up and was able to do some damage. Look, he hadn't had a great year. The numbers aren't going to jump off the page at you. But we've seen this story before, man. Going back to every championship, you can point at kind of an unheralded hero, whether it be in the pitching staff, which we'll talk about later, but also offensively. We had, a guy by the name of Jeremy Whitten in 2000 when we won the College World Series, hit a homer in the last game, late in the game, off of a future first rounder, that gave us the opportunity to win the thing. And, to me, what Curiel is going to do. He's proven that. He's in the discussion, best players in the country as a freshman. If he was coming out, he'd be a first-round pick this year. I think Jones' struggles have been well documented as of late. But the bigger ballpark, and I think some of those things are going to help him actually to kind of go gap to gap a little bit and kind of slow him down. So I'd look out for Pearson. I'll tell you who else I'd look out for. That's Braswell. Veteran. He's going to get his at-bats. The moment's not going to be too big for him. Jay hadn't asked him to do a whole lot this year either, by the way. Now, I know his numbers are not great, but, there's been a lot of bunt, hit and run, at-bats that were kind of put behind the 8 ball because he was asked to bunt or square around early. He could be a guy that could give you a couple really big at-bats, and he's shown that he can run the ball out of the park. It's just a dangerous offense, man. It really is.
Talking with Ryan Tero, of course, former LSU infielder, World Series champion, College World Series champion. We'll grab a break, Ryan. We'll come back. We'll flip over to the mound. Really interesting pitching matchup between LSU and Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Would love some thoughts on Cade Anderson as well. So we'll grab a break, come back on the other side. Coastal Carolina defeats Arizona 7-4. That goes final. They move on to the winner's bracket. We're back with more on AFR next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief:
Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding, and now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
All right, we'll head up to Arkansas, visit with Wes Moore, get a check-in of the Hogs in about 13 and a half minutes or so. Right now, welcome back in Ryan Tero. He's joining us via phone today. Talked offense in the first segment. Want to flip it to the mound here, Ryan. And the first thing I have, I mean, man, we talk about this all the time, but you're looking at a rematch, most likely the same two pitchers going in the game, but either way, no matter who throws, the offenses have seen them. Who has the advantage in that spot? Is it more geared to the hitter or the pitcher?
I mean, the more times you see a guy, the easier it is to figure him out from a hitting standpoint, for sure. You know, that's why you see starters success off the hitters. You know, second and third time through the lineup generally goes down. So I'm not going to say it's advantage hitter because it's never advantage hitter, but yeah, I mean, your opportunity for success absolutely goes up the more you see a guy.
So it'll be really interesting. I mean, obviously Jay hasn't announced who he's going to pitch, but I think most everybody's widely assuming Cade Anderson. Anderson was at the press conference yesterday and talked about facing Arkansas, and he's been your number one all year. The development of Anderson has really taken center stage. It's a guy who had, you know, an ERA north of 20 in conference play last year, and now, hell, he might be the first pick in the draft. What's different? What have you noticed different from Anderson this year to last?
Well, he's added a few pitches that he's thrown with confidence and been able to throw for strikes. You know, that slider that we've seen a lot of, you know, is something that's new this year. And then, you know, he always had the changeup. He didn't throw it very much, but you know, it makes it difficult offensively when you're when you have to worry about four pitches. Hitting a guy with good stuff is all about the process of elimination. You know, you want to take away their best pitch, which means you don't swing at it, and then be able to lock in on whatever that next pitch might be. But man, when you got four of them to worry about with him, you know, the fastball, the sinker, obviously the curveball, the slider, and the changeup, it just makes it real difficult, man. I don't want to say you're necessarily guessing, but when the fastball and the changeup are coming out of the exact same arm slot, you kind of got to pick one. And then when the slider and the curveball are coming out of the same arm slot, you kind of have to pick one there too. So, you know, just the fact that he's added 2 more pitches that hitters have to worry about. And then the obvious, getting ahead of guys, throwing strikes early in the count. But that's, that goes for anybody. But when you do get ahead early and you have 4 pitches to put a guy away with, it makes it pretty hard.
How quick do you think his ascent can be to Major League Baseball?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's amazing that last year we're, piling on the poor guy. And now all of a sudden, a year later, he's the best pitcher on the planet. I've heard the commentators talk about, he's the one guy in this draft that could probably, stay in the starting role, early draftees. It could be quick. I mean, you continue to have that success. They're moving guys up pretty fast. I wouldn't be shocked to see him, Double-A next year, possibly getting an opportunity to get a late season call-up. I mean, guys from the left side that throw mid-90s that can control multiple pitches don't come around very often. So, man, it could be a quick one.
With Ianson, what about his evolution throughout the season? Because, I mean, you'll remember early it was slow starts, but he would get stronger as the game goes on. He's put those slow starts behind him. Did anything really click? Did you notice something to where it was like, oh, wait, now he can get through the first, the second, and the third more efficiently?
I mean, it's leaving the bullpen with a feel for his breaking ball, I think, has been what I've seen. A lot of times that stuff doesn't translate. What you have in the bullpen and then what we see on the mound is 2 totally different things. Both good and bad. I mean, guys can be horrible in the bullpen in the game, getting ready before the game, getting ready, and then go dominate. And the flip side of that's the same too. But what I have seen is he's been able to drop that breaking ball in for a strike. I'm talking about the curveball early in the game, first inning, which immediately puts the hitters off balance and kind of behind the 8 ball. And then the splitty, to me, is a true neutralizer. That's the hardest pitch. That and a good cutter, the 2 hardest pitches to hit in the game. And man, I tell you, I think that's one of those pitches that's going to continue to develop and get better for him. You think about maybe a back of the end bullpen type guy that's mid to upper 90s with a couple of really nice breaking balls, from a projectability standpoint, what he looks like. But you just don't see too many guys throwing that pitch. It looks like a curveball. But when you flash the 86 or 87 up there, that is not a curveball. That's actually a split finger fastball, but it's nasty.
That's their 1-2, and they're the best in the country, widely regarded there. The bullpen. I actually want to start with Zach Cowan. Where's your concern level with Cowan after what we've seen in 4 out of the last 5 for him?
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, the scale of 1 to 10 it's up there. Which is weird because, if we'd have gone back, 3 weeks, I think you would say the same thing. Like, hey, he's the first out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Maybe a guy that if you needed a spot start could do it and go dominate. I mean, it's been pretty quick. He just looks a little unsure of himself, man. It almost is like the difference between him and Evans the other day, whenever Evans came in and saved everybody's butt, but the way that they caught the ball from the catcher, with that confidence, like give me the damn ball and then get back on the rubber. Here it comes again. And then with Cowan, it was just kind of like, oh crap, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. To me, he just doesn't look confident, man. And I don't know if he's tired or if it's just, he's gotten hidden around a little bit and not afraid to kind of go after those guys, but he's a pitch to contact dude. He's not a strikeout guy. You got to be able to trust your defense and look for weak contact. And guys like that just can't walk people, man. This stuff's not good enough. You cannot give free passes when you're trying to get ground balls, and that's his game. So, the walks have killed him. I mean, they just really have. It's nothing more than falling behind hitters, leaving a ball over the middle of the plate for a double, or falling behind hitters and then walking them,
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned he had in the regional another guy who had a really rough go of it in the regional in that same game, in the game prior was Chase Shores, and then the bounce back that he put forth on Sunday, closing out the Super to send LSU to Omaha was about as electric as it could be. He did not throw a fastball below 100 miles per hour. Does that kind of bump him up to first out of the pen in your minds? I mean, that was just different. Like, we've seen Chase Shores be really good. That felt different watching him on Sunday evening.
I just remember watching him back up Skeens a couple years ago and thinking to myself, this guy's going to be better than Paul Skeens. I mean, I really did believe that. The stuff that he had the other day, I've seen it a few times this year. Honestly, and then he would have it for an inning and then lose it. And, it wasn't super consistent, which plays along with Tommy John and the recovery and the feel and that consistency of the fastball and pounding the strike zone. When he's right, I would argue with anybody that he's got the best stuff in America today, right now. I don't know who's better when he's throwing strikes and doing what he did the other day. So I don't know that he'd be first out of the pen for me. I think that's probably Evans all day long. If you need it, maybe even depending on the matchups, Cooper. What's his last name?
Cooper Williams.
Wow. He's done great. But I tell you, to go to Chase Shores and flip him the ball and say, hey, big boy, go give me a few outs, I'm going to feel pretty confident. And like I said, that stuff was unbelievable, honestly.
West Virginia looked like they just never seen that before in their life.
They haven't. Look, nobody has. I mean, who has?
Yeah.
A 6'9" giant throwing 101. I mean, Randy Johnson, who else? I don't know.
That might be the list. Like that might be the list is the big unit. You always end up with somebody emerging out of the bullpen or just on the pitching staff. I mean, hell, in 2023 was a bunch of guys, whether it was Ackenhausen or Herring or even Thatcher Hurd. Chase Shores kind of feels like he could be that guy for LSU this year. It should be a phenomenal series. And the game Saturday night should be great. Ryan, I appreciate the time, man. You hopping on for a couple segments today. Enjoyed the chat.
Thanks, Moosh. Okay, buddy.
All right, man. We'll see you soon. That is Ryan Tero. We're going to grab a break. We're going to come back on the other side. We'll head up to Little Rock, visit with Wes Moore. He covers Arkansas up there, Fox 16 and 103.7 The Buzz. Wes will jump on, update us all things Hogs, how it's going up there with Arkansas and Omaha, how the team might be different as well since they played LSU in May. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Rolling along here on a Friday edition of After Further Review presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Scone's up in Boston. He's going to watch his Yankees get destroyed by the Red Sox up there at Fenway Park. He'll be back on Monday. As for us here back in Baton Rouge, we are wall-to-wall College World Series today on AFR. Let's head up to Arkansas, get a check-in on the Tigers' opponent, the Hogs. Wes Moore from Fox 16, as well as does radio up there on the Buzz as well. He's on Twitter at Wes_Moore. He joins us now. Wes, how are you?
No, it's good, man. Had fun watching that first game between Coastal Carolina and Arizona, and can't wait for tomorrow.
That was a great ball game, as a matter of fact, and I was really interested when they didn't start, when Coastal didn't start Fluky and then brought him in out of the bullpen. I was like, that's okay, but they got away with it, man. It worked out in their favor. What's the vibe around Arkansas and the Hogs when, man, you're going to face LSU and it was a tightly contested series and it's been a great rivalry. What's the vibe check up there?
I tell you what, the optimism is probably as high as I've ever seen it for Arkansas fans. This is their 8th trip to the College World Series since they started going, and I guess it's maybe that how well they played in the SEC, how good the SEC was, and then beating Tennessee. Sweeping Tennessee 2-0, they felt good about that. And Arkansas went 3-0 in the regional, so they're 5-0 in the postseason. They've only done, I think this is the second time they ever did that. So, Zach Root pitching well now, looking like a Friday night guy, has given the fans some confidence. The regional and super regional, he's been outstanding. And so I think that gives them, the fans, the confidence that they can match up the other team's ace, in this case, Cade Anderson, with an ace of their own that can keep it a low-scoring game, and the offense can do just enough and find a way to win, turn it over to the bullpen, and find a way to beat LSU and move on in the winner's bracket.
Glad you brought up Root, because that's actually where I wanted to go next. I mean, Wes, in my opinion, just kind of watching it from afar, I think he's pitching his best baseball of the year up to this point. What's changed for him?
Location, I would say. When he can locate, he throws like 4 or 5 different pitches. And if he's got 3 or 4 of them going, good luck, because you do not know what's going to come. And then, as we saw last week against Tennessee in the Super Regional, he hit 98.
Yeah.
I think he hit 99 one time. And we haven't seen that out of him this year. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I'm sure he was amped up. He was jacked up. He threw a 3-hitter shutout in 7 2/3 against Vanderbilt earlier in this season. That's when we kind of saw Zach Root at his best. But I didn't think Vanderbilt was a great hitting team. I thought they were overseeded, to be honest with you. But anyway, we've seen glimpses from Zach Root. But then there have been some just ho-hum games, where you're like, that doesn't look like a Friday night guy. He's not getting out of the 4th inning. But now, he had a good game against LSU down there, that late start on the Friday night in game 1. But to go back-to-back, and honestly, in the SEC tournament, he pitched well against Ole Miss. It was the Arkansas defense that uncharacteristically let him down. There were 2 double play balls in the first inning that Arkansas turned 95% of the time, and they didn't turn either one of them. And that changed the entire game. Ole Miss scored 5 runs in the first inning, and that's all they scored. But Arkansas didn't scratch out enough runs, and they lost one and done in the SEC tournament. But honestly, Zach has looked good now for three starts in a row.
Sticking with the pitching, am I oversimplifying it to say that the blueprint for Arkansas and what Dave Van Horn would love to do Saturday night is get 6, 7 out of Zach Root and then just give the ball to Gabe Gackle and move on to the winner's bracket?
That's what he's been doing last couple of games. Gabe Gackle's been their number 1 guy out of the bullpen. Against LSU, I wonder if it'll be Gabe Gackle because he may want to go to one of the lefties and keep that left-handed matchup going against LSU. The thing about Arkansas's bullpen, it's the strength of their team. Well, you can argue the hitting is the strength of their team, but
they have a lot of strengths, Wes.
Yeah, that's why they are where they are.
Yeah.
But they've got 8 guys that they can come in out of the bullpen and they feel good about. And honestly, it's so funny because if you remember when Arkansas played Tennessee in the regular season a couple of weeks ago, McIntyre came out, Will McIntyre, and he's an Arkansas kid, and he pitched great. I mean, he looked awesome. He hasn't pitched in the postseason.
Yeah.
And fans are like, where is he? And I'm like, well, you got to understand the pecking order. There's like 8 guys in front of him. That's how deep they are, that they don't need him necessarily, and they were holding him in case doomsday, worst case scenario, Tennessee comes storming back in the Super Regional and they need a pitcher for Monday. But they are. It's a very deep and good bullpen. And I know, one of the few hiccups they had was against LSU in game 1 when, they had a 4-2 lead going to the, the 7th inning, maybe the 8th inning. And they turned it over to one of their most reliable arms at that time, Aiden Jimenez. Yeah, it was the 7th inning. And Jimenez, who doesn't walk people, walked a couple of batters, gave up 2 runs. All of a sudden, it's a tie game and they have to go to the bullpen. But that is their strength of their team is the bullpen. So, yes, to answer your question, they'd love to get 6 or 7 innings from Zach Root.
Talking with Wes Moore, he covers Arkansas up there in Little Rock, 103.7 The Buzz, also Fox 16 on Twitter, X at Wes_Moore. A few more for you here. Arkansas on the offensive side, I mean, they've been awesome all year. They've hit lefties really well. My question, though, is do you look at what Arkansas has done on offense and see it translating to Omaha and to Charles Schwab Field?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part. We saw that with Arizona late in the game.
Yep.
Looked like their lefty had a home run. He hit it a little high and the wind's blowing in. And the outfield fan stood up and he ran back to the wall and then had a run in. And he caught it off, outside the warning track. So, yeah, home runs aren't going to happen. You can still hit a home run. We saw that with Arizona earlier. But I don't think the pace of the home run ball that Arkansas hits will translate. Look, they hit a couple of wall scrapers in the Super Regional against Tennessee and in the Regional. Those aren't going to get out there. They're out. They'll be caught on the warning track. So one of the big things they talked about yesterday during their first practice at Charles Schwab Field was, and the wind was blowing in yesterday. And by the way, it's supposed to every day except for Wednesday. I looked it up, and it looks like it's a south-southwest wind every single day. And some days it's like 15 miles per hour. So the wind's going to affect it. The ballpark's going to play really big. But Arkansas said during batting practice, they saw right away. It's hard to hit the ball out here. So let's focus on line drives. Let's focus on hitting the gap. Let's, try to hit it over the outfielder's head and get a double instead of a home run. the good thing for Arkansas, they're one of the top teams in the country in batting average, so they get hit. They're just going to, can't depend on the 3-run home run.
Yeah, and they hit everybody, lefties and righties, especially lefties. I mean, they are pretty remarkable there against the Southpaws. If there's one way, or if there's multiple, give me multiple, but I know it's only really been like a month, but how is Arkansas different than the last time they matched up against LSU?
I'd say one big difference is Logan Maxwell, their right fielder. He was hitting third in the lineup against LSU, and he had hamstring injuries and missed probably 3-4 series in the SEC and was just coming back when they played down there in Baton Rouge. He wasn't at top. He was maybe arguably their best hitter last week in the Super Regional. He's back in that 3-hole, hitting the ball really well. Kahil Aloy, they need to get him going. I think the last home run he hit is against LSU in that first game Friday night. He's been dropped in the lineup from the 4 spot all the way to the 7 spot at times last weekend. But this lineup, it's been so deep. It's like every weekend somebody else steps up. It can be Vahiva Aloy, it can be Davalon, it can be Brent Iredale. He looked good against Tennessee, hit a home run last week. Ryder Helfrich, that's another name. I should have led with that. Ryder Helfrich, the catcher, I think he was batting like 7th against LSU that weekend. Mm-hmm. He's in the cleanup spot now. He's been on a tear, and they saw that out of him last year in batting practice and never translated into SEC play. He went off to Cape Cod and just tore it up and came back, had a great fall, had a great spring. Season started, got off to a slow start. And then all of a sudden he just started putting good at bats together, and now he's in the thick of the lineup.
Yeah, Helfrich killed LSU from that 7-hole, too, all weekend. Like, it felt like that guy was on base every single time that he came up. If Arkansas does have a weakness, if they have a hole, what is it?
No, it's starting pitching. If Zach Root can't be an ace and they have to go into the bullpen early, they're fine with it. Like I said, they got so many arms. Okay, we'll take him. And Van Horn will have a quick hook. We saw that in Game 2 against Tennessee. Gage Wood wasn't locating his curveball or fastball. He's falling behind in the count. And he was struggling, not giving up runs, but just scuffling every single inning against Tennessee. He went 3 2/3. They went to the bullpen, and the bullpen was outstanding. So he'll have a quick hook, but that's the weak spot. If Gage Wood, you see flashes out of these guys. We've seen Gage Wood look outstanding for 7 innings and look like he could be an ace and be a great 1-2 punch like LSU has. But then we've seen weeks where they don't have it, but they go to the bullpen and they're just fine with doing that. But yeah, if you could tell me that Zach Root gives them 7, Gage Wood gives them 7, I'll tell you, I'll see you Wednesday night in the Winners Bracket Championship game.
Look, you aren't the only one up there hoping for that. I'm positive of that, man. Wes, we appreciate the time as always. Always enjoy the chat and enjoy the baseball for however long the Hogs are up there.
Well, I fully expect, no matter what happens Saturday, Arkansas and LSU will rematch on Wednesday and again possibly Thursday.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, Jay Johnson had a great quote earlier this week where he had said, like, we expected this. We knew we'd have to go through them to get to where we want, whether it was, in the World Series opener or in the championship series. It feels like they're going to play another 3-game series at the least. They're just both too good. They're both too good. So appreciate it as always, Wes. Thank you.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
You do the same. That is Wes Moore again, up there, TV and radio in Little Rock. He does a great job, finger on the pulse with Arkansas baseball. Appreciate him for hopping on for a couple minutes here. We're going to grab a break, but first, Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association at Parrish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers and call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
All right, one segment remaining here in the 4 o'clock hour. Of course, wrap it up with Tigers in the pros. And then 5 o'clock hour, we are still just completely jam-packed with baseball. Ben Mintz, Barstool Sports. He's heading up to Omaha. He's going to hop on with us, talk a little bit about the College World Series, kind of each matchup, who he likes, some betting plays from Mincy, obviously, as well. He can get you really for 3 of the remaining games. I'm sure he'll have a play on all of them, so we'll let him hand those out as well. Really looking forward to the chat with Ben. I enjoy talking with Mincy. And then I have my final thoughts and prediction on what happens Saturday night, man. And it took me a while to actually decide who I was going to pick. And we'll talk about that here at the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. Right now, we'll grab a break. Come back with more. It's AFR.
After further review.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique, and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for Unique Aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling, and right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. parishrestoration.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 here of AFR on a Friday, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We do so with Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
And we start at the U.S. Open and Oakmont, where Sam Burns fires a second-round 65. How about one bogey to go along with 5 birdies, the rest par? That is easily the low round of the day at the U.S. Open, and it has Burns tied for the lead in a major championship at 3 under par. He is tied with South African Tristan Lawrence, who, just for comparison's sake, shot even par today. Burns had everything working, and J.J. Spawn and Thomas Dietrich, they are each one shot back. But one way or the other, it looks like Sam Burns has a pretty solid chance to have a 36-hole lead heading into the weekend of a major championship, and that's awesome. He's coming off of a playoff defeat in the Canadian Open a week ago, but the game obviously still in good shape, and he looks to carry, hopefully, let the round finish, but a 36-hole lead into the weekend of a major champion. Awesome play from Sam Burns here today at Oakmont. Grant Taylor got his second career outing for the Chicago White Sox, and it was pretty darn good again. One shutout inning, did give up 2 hits, but didn't walk anybody, only struck out 16 pitches, 10 of those across the wide of the plate for a strike. The ERA still a sparkling 0 there from Grant Taylor, and he threw the ball over 100 miles an hour a lot once again. Speaking of throwing the ball over 100 miles an hour a lot, Paul Skeens, he was on the bump. Matinee action at Wrigley Field today for Skeens and the Pirates. 5 innings for Skeens. Shutout baseball. 2 walks, 5 Ks. The ERA lowered to 1.78. And he got a no decision. Yet again. The Pirates won. We'll give it. The Pirates won a Paul Skeens start, but they won it 2-1. I loathe that team so much for what they do to Paul Skeens. Anyway, sparkling outing for him once again. Kevin Gausman will be on the bump tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. They kick off a series with the Philadelphia Phillies. Gausman is 5-4 on the year, 3.8 ERA. He has punched out 73 in 76 2/3 innings. And how about just 17 walks from Kevin Gausman? He got off to a little bit of a rocky start this year, but man, he has absolutely righted the ship and is right back on track with what you've seen really for the majority of his career, especially up there in Toronto. So we'll get you a recap of how that goes for Gausman when we return here on Monday, just for the update. And then the Chicago Sky, they're in action tonight against the Dream. Angel Reese, she'll be back on the floor. She's averaging 10 and 12 so far on the season. That is Tigers in the Pros. This is After Further Review, again presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar on a Friday. We've been wall-to-wall baseball, and that'll continue in the next hour. Ben Mintz, he'll lead us off. A couple segments with Mincy talking all things College World Series from a betting perspective, also just from a baseball perspective. Mincy's heading up there here shortly. He'll be in Omaha for a few days for the majority of the stay of the teams up there. And then, of course, I got to give you my final prediction for LSU and Arkansas, my final thoughts. And we'll wrap up the show with a little bit of Ask Us. So go ahead and start getting those questions in. Drop in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or you can tweet them at me, at Musso Matthew. Ask us to wrap up the show right now. We grab a break. We will have Sports Center. They will get you caught up on all the national headlines. And then we are right back to baseball to start hour number 2. Ben Mintz joins the show. That is all next here on AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After further review.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Indiana Pacers bring a 2-1 series lead into Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight against the Thunder in Indianapolis. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith believes tonight will tell the story.
Indiana wins this game, there's no way in hell they're losing 3 straight. But if they lose these games, if they lose this game 4, after what we saw happen with OKC the other night, that's going to be a bad sign for Indiana if you can't win tonight and Oklahoma City comes out and they win tonight. I think the winner of tonight's game wins this series.
Stephen A. Smith on First Take. Game 4 coverage starts tonight at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC. Our Shams Charania reports Nuggets guard Russell Westbrook will not pick up his option for next season. He'll be a free agent on June 30th. Diamondbacks closer Justin Martinez will miss the rest of the season and part of next year. He has a ligament sprain in his right elbow. Second round of the U.S. Open at Oakmont, Tristan Lawrence and Sam Burns share the lead right now at 3 under par.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour number 3 off and running after further review. Friday show presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Scone is back on Monday. Taylor Sharp, Cassie Spazzali along for the ride as well, and happy to have you along for the ride. Just hopping in your car, knocking off work. Appreciate you tuning in, making us part of your day. We have been wall-to-wall baseball all day on After Further Review, and that will continue right now in the 3 o'clock hour. We welcome in Ben Mintz, Barstool Sports. You can get him on Twitter at StoolMintzy. Mintzy, great time of year. How are you?
Doing well. A lot of stuff. You mentioned it. I mean, College World Series started today. I want to say, really good game. I watched a lot of it. It was back and forth the whole time. Ultimately, Coastal Carolina got 3 in the bottom of the 8th, and that was enough to beat Arizona. But I thought it was a great first game. The weather's really good in Omaha, and just great to see the scene in Omaha. It's really one of the most last true classic American sporting events. It's like big, but it's not too huge. And man, I just love the College World Series. I know you feel the same way, and can't wait to watch more of it tonight.
When are you heading up there?
So I'm flying out Monday morning. I got really lucky, to be honest. We have a Barstool Golf Classic Tuesday in Omaha. And when I saw that, they always want talent to be there to talk to the Stoolies and stuff. And when I saw there was one in Omaha, I immediately signed up for it and am able to piggyback off that to make a couple of days in Omaha. So I'll be at LSU's game too. Hopefully it's Monday night in the winners bracket. I really want to see an LSU Murray State game. I think that's just would be so classic to see that matchup in Omaha. And so I'm getting to go Monday and Wednesday. I have the Classic Tuesday, and then I fly back here Thursday. But I'm excited to get out there for a couple of days. And I actually think I talked to Hunt Palmer, and I think I'm doing 104.5 ESPN with him from Omaha on Monday too.
Oh, awesome. Well, that'll be perfect. Well, I mean, we'll always love to have you on the airwaves. Before we get too deep in the College World Series, y'all taking good care of our boy T-Bob up there?
Oh, man, it's going great. It's I knew this when I heard this happen. He's just such a seamless fit up here because he's just such a character, an off-the-wall character, and he's into some weird stuff, but there's no place better to let your freak flag fly than Barstool Sports.
There you go, man.
And so he, whether he's into Star Wars and all the fantasy stuff he's into, he's playing chess and, it's just a great fit. And the thing with T-Bob too, when I got hired up there, I had 3,000 Twitter followers. And I moved to New York not knowing anybody. T-Bob already had relationships with Big Cat and Brandon Walker and, really big media following, coming with him up here. And so he's already very established. And so it's a pretty seamless transition. And, obviously just getting to be around T-Bob and Megan every day and seeing the Louisiana influence on Barstool is really special.
Yeah, y'all keep it strong up there, man. We love to see that down here for sure. All right, Mincy, let's talk some College World Series. let's not bury the lead. I mean, we'll get to the other games, and I know you have some plays I'm sure that you want to give out, but LSU and Arkansas, it is so rare, and honestly, it's a little off-putting to see this matchup in the opening round, to punctuate the opening round, but to have the narrative around it where, man, whoever wins that game is probably going to win the national championship. And I think that's how a lot of people feel. Just your 10,000 foot view on that game first.
Well, I mean, it's a very public sentiment, but that doesn't mean that sometimes the public's, wrong.
Correct.
I mean, when you look at LSU this year, though, I mean, I think this is a really, really good LSU team. And, I followed it all year. And when Cade Anderson or Anthony Ionson's pitching, you feel great about LSU. They might be a little vulnerable like we saw in the regional against Little Rock in the games those guys aren't throwing, but that's kind of nitpicking. The big thing with LSU this year was, sometimes the bats struggled a little bit on the road, but it's not for a lack of talent in the lineup. I mean, especially with Ethan Fry emerging and Jared Jones, Derek Curiel, maybe the best freshman in the country, and Dickinson, and then you see Luis Hernandez hitting for some power, and Stephen Mullen. I mean, there's a ton of talent here. So, I feel really good about where LSU is. It seems like they're peaking at the right time. I do think LSU had an extremely weak NCAA tournament drawing, but all you can do is beat the teams in front of you. So that's not their fault. You can't really fault that. They obviously hammered West Virginia in that super regional, scoring 28 runs in 2 games. So, that's all you can do is beat who you play. But this is a fascinating matchup because Arkansas is really good this year. And, you look at the last 10 or 15 years, how consistent that program has been because baseball is such a hot, cold sport. You see Ole Miss and Mississippi State win national titles. They don't even make the tournament the next 2 years. Arkansas has been at this level. I mean, they've been the most consistent program in the SEC the last 10, 15 years, and they should have won it in 2018 when they dropped that foul ball. And then you look at this year's team, going in, the narrative was like, hey, Arkansas's had this super elite pitching the last few years, but the bats have fallen off. Not the case this year with the Eloy brothers and that Charles, whatever his last name is, the outfielder that can really hit. The thing with Arkansas, they got a lot of great power arms in the bullpen. I like Zach Root, the lefty that's going game 1, but the starting pitching depth might not be as good. I mean, this is, this game's pick 'em for a reason. I think I saw it at Arkansas minus 120 and LSU coming back at 110. And you saw that series in Baton Rouge. LSU won 2 out of 3, but that Friday night game, they kind of pulled out late, and Arkansas probably should have won it before LSU blew them out Saturday. So, this is a really, really hard one to call. But you do got to give the benefit of the doubt to Jay Johnson spot, I think.
It's funny because I've talked about that all week. It's like, when you really look back at that series outside of Saturday, it was tightly contested. Like even Arkansas won by 3 on Sunday. It was a 1-run game going into the 9th inning. Like that series was back and forth the whole time, except for Saturday when LSU that's arguably the best game they've played all year. So. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Is there a play you like in that game, or is there just really no value?
Man, I hadn't seen. I've been looking at it. I mean, the over/under's 9.5, but it's hard to bet overs in that ballpark because you see it all the time every year, and you saw it in the Coastal Arizona game. Coastal smoked one in the 5th when they had a runner on second. That, is a home run in every college baseball ballpark in the country, and it dies at the track. And the center fielder makes a running catch at the edge of the warning track. And so it's hard to bet overs, especially when both ace pitchers are going in that ballpark because it's just so hard to hit it out of there. So, I sort of lean under, I think, with that pitching matchup slightly. But, man, I don't have a strong read on this game. I'll be honest, I have a long-standing war with the Arkansas fan base. I'm definitely Tiger Saturday night.
They don't like Mincy up in Fayetteville?
No. We've gone at it, and I said a lot of things when Ole Miss beat them in 2022 in the College World Series. I can't confirm or deny whether I called them a trash fan base. Very, very, very viral social media video. But them and Tennessee fans on Twitter. Man, I think they're the two worst.
Oh, Tennessee.
So it's kind of one of those things. Arkansas's program deserves a national championship with how good they've been, especially how good Van Horn's done. But I don't want to see their fans get it. I love seeing them suffer.
I don't know if there's a program that deserves it more right now than Arkansas, especially going through what they've gone through up in that ballpark, whether it be in 22 or obviously 2018. They've been so close. They just haven't really been able to get over the hump. while we're on the subject of Arkansas and LSU, and really LSU, you told me earlier that you had the opportunity this week to sit down with Skip Bertman for 45 minutes. Tell me about that. How was that?
Shout out to Gordy Rush, a man that has been known to make a thing or two happen in his day in the Baton Rouge community. I'd had that on my bucket list since I've been doing sports media since 2015. I was like, I really want to interview Skip Bertman at some point, especially he's 87 and a walker. I mean, I hope he lives forever, but Father Time's tough. And I thought about it this week, and I was like, man, LSU's going to Omaha. There's no better time to try. And I called Gordy early in the week, and I was like, hey, do you have some connection? Is there any way you think he'd do this? And Gordy just gave me his number and said, call him. He said, don't text him. He won't respond to the text. But he said, give him a call. And I called him, and he called me back a couple hours later and said, yeah, I'll do it. I'd love to talk some college baseball with you. And we set it up. It was funny. We tried to send him a Zoom call, not going to work. So we had to do all kinds of stuff to give him a number to call and all this stuff. That kind of took a minute. But, what was interesting to me was, man, we just sat there and talked college baseball for an hour. I mean, I was planning on keeping him 20 minutes. I didn't want to keep him too long. And man, this thing, I felt like we could have talked for 4 or 5 hours. We talked a lot about what Jay Johnson's done for the LSU program and his thoughts on the transfer portal and just how different it is. He was talking about, how he would be driving through the night to Shreveport to watch high school players' games. And now it's just, such a national deal and how different the sport is. And we talked a lot about that. And then, I got him going. I really wanted to, kind of push his buttons on the history and, asked him why he chose LSU when he left Miami in 1985. And did he ever dream he'd be at Alex Box in front of 12,000 fans? And, he kind of said he did. I mean, he said, he learned from Coach Frazier at Miami, and he came in and he knew exactly what to do to build the program. And, he wasn't surprised by any of the success. And, it was really fun talking about, this is LSU's 20th time to make the College World Series in 40 seasons. Yeah. Musso, that's the craziest stat I've ever heard.
That's loud, Mincy. That's loud.
50%? Yeah. I mean, we're talking about there's over 300 D1 teams starting the season, and 8 make Omaha. You make it 50% of the time? I mean.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
And I'll tell you what else is crazy. I think an even crazier stat than that is the fact in the 19 trips they've gone, they've won 7 championships. There's 8 teams in the field. If you do common math, they should have 2 or 3 championships, and they have 7. Yeah. And, it's a wild run that will never be duplicated. And got to talk to him. I was sharing with him, I brought up the Warren Morris homer in 96 because I was a 13-year-old kid in Monroe, Louisiana, and I was watching that in the den with my dad. And that's literally one of my most childhood memories that I remember was that moment, and, kind of sharing that with him. And, he actually gave me a compliment at the end that I'd probably want to put on my tombstone, where he said at the end, he's like, it's just great talking college baseball with someone as knowledgeable and passionate about it as you are. And I was like, damn, I can't believe he just said that. So I was like, the haters can take that.
There you go.
Musso, I was really in awe the whole time, though. It's kind of one of those things, and I know you get to too, because y'all interview a lot of big people on AFR, and you've met a lot of people being in media, and there's not many people where I would be in total awe, like starstruck. And man, when I'm talking to Skip Bertman, I mean, I'm just saying as little as possible and just letting him go. And man, it was just an unbelievable experience, and something I'll never forget.
Man, I'll tell you, Mincy, very early when I started at Guarantee, I got the opportunity to produce on site for Skip. He had a weekly radio show that he did with Dan Canterbury, who was a coach on his staff. And that is still and probably always will be one of the top 5 most favorite things that I've done in media so far. Just to sit and listen and to hear the stories and get to pick, the brain. It's awesome. You mentioned he sat with you for an hour. It's hard not to when you talk to Skip, because he's got so much to offer, to talk about. He's seen so much. He's done it all at the highest level. It is an opportunity that no one should ever take for granted, man. It is an awesome conversation every time. Every time.
And I'll tell you, some of his stuff he said I love too, because he was talking about growing college baseball. And, one thing that LSU has done, and he said he scheduled on purpose, is LSU still travels to play all the smaller schools in Louisiana, and he talked about like he put that in. And, everywhere, when LSU goes to Nicholls State and, goes to Louisiana Tech and goes and plays UM, they don't have to do that, and LSU's out, selling out crowds at all these smaller schools. And he said he did it to help grow the sport of college baseball. And, I love that, because like where LSU is as a program, they don't have to play Tuesday night games where you see Jared Jones, in full uniform waiting to pee in a porta potty, but they get out and support the whole state and help grow the sport. And, he was talking about just how cool it was, how much college baseball has grown, since they were, back then, because back in the beginning, as him and Ron Polk and Mississippi State were doing it, but then all the other programs were lagging so far behind. And now you look around the SEC and, you see, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and LSU and Arkansas drawing over 10,000 a game, Texas, A&M, Tennessee, all 7,000. It's crazy how much the sport's grown. And I still think it's the tip of the iceberg. I think it's going to just keep getting bigger and bigger.
I hope it does, man. Weeks like we're about to have are huge to that. And Skip's certainly one of a kind. Mincy, hold tight. We're going to grab a break. We'll come back, look at the rest of the College World Series bracket, kind of recap game one as well. Get some plays from you from the other games also. That's coming up next here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is en fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best. You need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Pearl Jam, and the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At LUVA, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
For someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle, maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children, Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer. And, I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take, like, the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
All right, back here, wrapping up. Not wrapping up, moving along through the third hour of After Further Review on a Friday, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We bring back in Ben Mintz from Barstool Sports. Our guy Mintzy, of course, you can get him on Twitter, @StoolMintzy. We talked LSU, Arkansas, Omaha, all that in the first segment. Want to branch out now, Mintzy, to the rest of the bracket. But before we kind of do that, just the parity that we saw in this edition of the NCAA tournament. I mean, the upsets were plentiful. 5 of the top 16 seeds, not even just the top 8, 5 of the top 16 make it to Omaha. What was kind of your takeaway just of the NCAA tournament up to this point?
I got one quick point that's non-College World Series I got to make real quick. It's about Sam Burns.
Oh, yeah.
Because Sam Burns has a chance. Has an LSU golfer ever won the U.S. Open? I mean, I know David Toms won the PGA, and LSU's sent good people. But what Sam Burns did today, he went out and shot a 65 on the literal hardest course. This is like the toughest U.S. Open is Oakmont. I mean, like, the U.S. Open's known for being the hardest tournament in the world. And Oakmont is like the hardest of the hard. And what he did today, going out there and firing a 65, is literally insane. And he has 5 wins on the PGA Tour. And he last weekend, he shot a 29 on the back 9, and he lost in a 4-hole playoff in the RBC Heritage in Canada. I gave him out 80-1 this week because he was playing so good going to the U.S. Open. You know, a lot of golf left to be played. And, you know, you look at Sam's career, he's kind of had some leads on Sunday and mentally had some problems closing, you know, but I just got to say, I wanted to make sure I gave him a shout out here on this set show because what he's doing is, I mean, that's unbelievable to shoot a 65 at that course.
Mintz, you got an 80-1 ticket on Sam Burns right now? Is that what you're telling me?
I do. I gave it out. I gave it out this week on my Twitter too.
Hey, now shout out. Yeah, he's got a chance to have a 36-hole lead, whether he's tied or not.
His putting, he's the best putter on the PGA Tour right now. He's been gaining 5 to 6 strokes a weekend on the average golfer, which is unheard of. And the thing was, he's been putting so good, but his approach shots were like under average for a long time. And he's gotten them up to average lately, and that's all he needs with how well he's putting. He made a 22.5-foot, brutally tough putt on 18 to save par, too. That was incredible to close that round.
I saw it. All right, Mintzy, let's get back to the College World Series, though. And obviously, we definitely wish Burnsy a lot of luck. Overall takeaway of how the NCAA tournament shook out and the teams we ended up with up in the College World Series?
Well, okay, so I think it's been an unbelievable NCAA tournament, and that's why it's so great is because baseball is so unpredictable. Anybody can lose 2 games. And you saw that with what happened to Vandy in Texas opening weekend, not being able to get out of their own regionals. And it's interesting, though, because the SEC's dominated Omaha so much the last few years. I mean, they've won every national championship since 2018 when Oregon State shouldn't have beaten Arkansas. But this year, it's a different deal. And LSU and Arkansas are certainly superpowers, but as you mentioned in the last segment, they happen to be matched up against each other. And so what you've got, because of all the upsets, is it's a random Omaha, but, it's funny that the Pac-12 disbanded last year, and they have 3 old Pac-12 schools, and Oregon State, Arizona, and UCLA are there. But you look around, I mean, a lot of schools with baseball tradition are here. Like Louisville's fallen off the last couple of years, but Dan McDonald, won, I think he might have won the most games in college baseball from 2010 to 2019. Oregon State's obviously won 3 national championships since 2000. They haven't made Omaha since 18, but they do have a lot of tradition. Arizona, Jay Johnson almost won a national championship at 16, had them there in 2021. They're always really good. So you got some teams that have UCLA has a baseball tradition, even if they hadn't made it since 13. So it's not like, schools that aren't good at baseball or don't care about baseball. It's just not as SEC heavy. Coastal Carolina and Murray State, obviously not as much tradition, especially Murray, but Coastal, I mean, they won it in 16 and then they won over 50 games this year. So, it's not like a shock they were there. They probably should have been an 8 or 9 national seed when they were the 13. But the Murray State thing's the story. I mean, they've never won an NCAA tournament game in their whole history till this year. And they make it to Omaha. And they did it. You got to give them credit. I mean, they won do or die, final games at Ole Miss and at Duke, and doing that on the road, you got to give them a ton of credit. They can hit the crap out of the baseball. I think it was reported their head coach makes $68,000 a year.
Bruh.
$68K. And I don't know if you saw the thing with Murray State today. Dave Portnoy put $25K on them at 45-1 to win like $1.1 million, $125,000. And the Murray State coach quote tweeted and said, that'll be enough to put turf on our field.
Oh man. I did want to ask you about Murray State because, I mean, you saw them up close and personal. They were in the Oxford Regional. And I mean, look, Mintz, I think a lot of people looked at that regional and said that's going to be it's a tough out for Ole Miss. But I think a lot of people looked at it and said, because Georgia Tech's in it, not because of the Racers. And I'll be damned. I mean, from jump, Murray State was all over everybody over there in Oxford.
Yeah, well, I think the thing about Murray State, all right, and, I mean, I kind of mentioned the LSU draw being a little weaker. Mm-hmm. How is Rhode Island a 3 and Murray State a 4? Murray State lost 13 games this year. And they won the Missouri Valley, which is no stranger to NCAA tournament success. Oral Roberts made the College World Series as a 4 and won a game 2 years ago. Dallas Baptist used to be in that league before they came into CUSA. I mean, the Missouri Valley's had a lot of success in the NCAA tournament recently. And I feel like Murray State might have been underseeded. But, man, the thing about their team, they just, 1-9, everybody hits. They don't strike out. They put a ton of pressure on your defense. They put the ball in play. And you look at it, they score a ton of runs. My question on them, they have a decent number 1 starter and one pretty good guy at the bullpen. I just don't know, about the pitching depth on this level. And that's why they're 45-1 here. They're the biggest underdog. But, man, they can really hit, and they believe. And, baseball's a confidence momentum sport. Fresno State was a 4 seed in 2008 and won the whole thing. So it's happened before. I don't know that I expect them to do that. But, I think they had a good shot against UCLA tomorrow. They're like 2-1 underdog, which is, I think, too much.
We got a ticket on Murray State. What play? You have a play on that game?
Man, I did. So, okay, what I did was when I looked at the lines, I lost the first game. I took Arizona plus 175. They made the favorites too big of favorites. And I told you, I really like Coastal. I think Coastal's a better team than Arizona. I just thought the line should be like minus 150, and they were minus 230. And you know how college baseball is. It's just so unpredictable. In this next game, Oregon State's minus like 190, and Louisville's coming back about 150. Once again, I think Oregon State's a better team, but I think they should be minus 130 or 140. So I'm taking Louisville plus 150 just because I just think that's a crazy line. I just think they're too big of favorites. And so, I'm not saying I'm in love with Louisville. They were like a pretty good ACC team all year. Certainly they're a tournament team. Zane Rose is an All-American outfielder, but they also, they beat Miami at home in a super in 3 games by 1 run. And that was a Miami team that got one of the last bids in the field. They did win at Vandy, and you got to give them credit for that. But I'm not saying Louisville is like blows me away by any stretch of the imagination. And then, I look at tomorrow, and I mean, UCLA's minus 270. Musso, interesting thing on UCLA. Nobody gives a crap about UCLA baseball. No one.
Fair.
I mean, literally, they get 700 fans at their games. You look at that bracket with the Murray State being kind of America's team and LSU and Arkansas. We need UCLA to go 2 and out and just get out of there. Nobody wants to see them. Nobody cares.
Hey, man, you said you want to see an LSU-Murray State matchup. I also want to see the LSU-Murray State matchup. I know they're hot, and I know they can hit, and I get it, man. But I would much rather play Murray State than UCLA 100% of the time, every time, and take my chances there on maybe getting
big
upset.
thing, I want that. I'm hoping that's a 6 p.m. game Monday night, not a 1 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Mintzy, one more for you, and we'll let you go. Your time appreciated, my man. Who do you like coming out on the other bracket?
Man, I went, even though I said I bet Arizona, I said Coastal going in. I just like that pitching staff. Coastal's got multiple starters that are 6'5", that are throw mid-90s. It's interesting the makeup of the Coastal team because we all remember 2016 when they could just have all those sluggers that were huge. This team does it with pitching. It's a different team. And I think they've got a deep pitching staff and really good arms. And, Arizona's hot and they find a way a lot, and Louisville's here and all that. But I don't think those teams are like that great, And so I had Coastal coming out of that other bracket. And, man, I've been back and forth on this LSU-Arkansas thing all week. I can't figure it out because I think Arkansas is so due to win one. But then I love that Anderson-Ianson combo. And so it's – Coastal's playing LSU or Arkansas in the title, but I'm still struggling. I keep flipping my pick like every 30 minutes.
Yeah, they need to reseed this thing when they get to Omaha. The fact that we're getting LSU Arkansas in the opening round, and look, we'll probably see, chances are we're going to see that matchup multiple times in this World Series, but it just feels like it should be later and kind of, with there's not a lot on the line, but you know what I mean, like a little bit more on the line. But we have what we have, and it'll be a great game on Saturday. Mintzy, enjoy the time in Omaha, man. I know that you will, and we appreciate the time all baseball season.
Oh, yeah, man. Love talking college baseball with you and Matt. It's just always so much fun, and, we'll keep this going next year. And hopefully I'm talking to you next Friday previewing LSU in the National Championship Series.
I would love that. I would absolutely – that'd be a great conversation to have, Mintzy, 100%. Thanks, man.
I appreciate it. Y'all take it easy.
You do the same. That has been Mintz, Barstool Sports. We're going to grab a break. We're going to come back on the other side. I'll give you my final thoughts, my final preview, and a prediction on LSU and Arkansas next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes two to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. It takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
These luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of which, Rouse's.com. Father's Day this weekend. Maybe you're going to be grilling burgers for Dad. You want to build a better burger. Rouse's can help you do it. Get by any of the Rouse's locations. You can get all the trimmings, the fixings, the sides that you need for your burgers or whatever you're going to be eating for Father's Day. You want to buy Dad a couple of steaks to throw on the grill, you can do that, of course, at Rouse's in their great butcher department, their meat section. Maybe you let someone else take care of it. They got great catering trays over at Rouse's. You can order there. Heading up to Omaha, stock up those ice chests before you hit the road for the drive up to the Midwest, or if you're just hanging out here this week for Father's Day or to watch the College World Series, whatever you need. They got it at Rouse's. Get there, check out that weekly ad on the app, on the homepage. If you're doing your grocery shopping, you want to save, they'll always find ways for you to do that. Of course, they love to source locally. Rouse's, born in Louisiana, the #1 supermarket in the entire Southeast. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
All right, back here after further review. We're coming up on 24 hours ahead of LSU and Arkansas in the College World Series to punctuate the opening round on Saturday evening. It's practically here. And it's very exciting. There's a little bit of a nervous energy, all of that around this game, and that's how it should be this time of year. There has not been a day this week where I have not looked at some angle in this baseball game. When I sat down earlier today to record Musso at the Box for the final preview, the final prediction, I actually said out loud to myself before I hit record, I think I know who I'm going to pick. This game is as toss-up as it can be. Just look at the two teams. They are similar in just about every way. Whether it's team ERA, whether it's the batting average, fielding percentage are separated by 0.3 of a point. They are, on paper, as similar as you can be. The regular season series was fantastic baseball. Outside of Saturday when LSU just dominated, every other game was tightly contested. Even that Sunday game, it was a one-run game going into the top of the ninth inning. I expect more of the same on Saturday night. And the littlest of things is going to make the difference. Neither of these teams gives you much in the field. Throwing strikes will obviously be key for LSU. But if I look at this from both sides on LSU, offense and pitching, there are a few things that I really, really hone in on. On offense, you know, we've had so many people on the show today, and I've kind of asked them all X factor for LSU on offense. For mine, it's Stephen Milam. Stephen Milam is hitting .421. He has driven in 11 runs in the NCAA tournament. LSU's offense away from the box has struggled this year. I actually think the way LSU has played baseball and offensive baseball this season translates quite well to Charles Schwab Field. LSU hasn't lived and died by the home run. They've got 101 of them on the season, and they just cracked the century mark in the Super Regional. They've got guys who can run it out of the yard, sure, but that's not the be-all, end-all of this offense. They have had to manufacture runs more with bunts, with sac flies, with hit and runs. They've even stole a few more bases. They've been much more aggressive on the base paths on dirt balls and things of that nature. That plays at the Schwab. Jay Johnson all season has used the phrase hard, not far. That's what they're looking for. Hit it hard, not far. Line drives, that plays. And when you're focusing on that, eventually you will run a few out of the yard. But Stephen Milam has been your best offensive threat throughout the postseason, and he has to continue to be that. Because it just elevates everyone else in the lineup around him. It takes it to a whole new level because you can slot him in so many different spots in the lineup, and he's going to go out there and be really, really good. LSU has got to be ready to hit. Arkansas throws strikes. That is a hallmark of everybody on this staff. They throw the ball over the plate. You look at Zach Root's last outing against LSU. He went 6 innings. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 6. He's not the only one that's going to do that. Gabe Gackle pounds the zone. Parker Coyle pounds the zone. Gage Wood pounds it. They all pound the zone. You have to go up there ready to hit, much like you were this weekend against West Virginia. Kern and Kartsonis were exactly the same way. I don't think either of those guys had walked 20 batters on the season. And you were able to chase both of them early because you were ready to hit. You didn't miss mistakes. I think that's actually a great 1-2 that LSU got to face in preparation for this game. The other thing offensively for LSU here is get into the bullpen. It goes hand in hand with being ready to hit. We had Wes Moore on earlier, and he talked about the pitching staff and the bullpen specifically being the strength of this Arkansas team. That's a mouthful because they have a lot of strengths. But I sat here on Thursday and told you the thing that's been most impressive to me of Arkansas's 5-0 postseason run is how they've pitched. And they haven't pitched poorly all season long, but it feels like they're pitching their best. But in the first two games of that series, back in Baton Rouge in May, LSU got 10 earned runs off of Arkansas's bullpen in those first two games. They are really one of the only teams that has had success against those arms. And they got runs off of Gackle. They got runs off of Jimenez. 10 earned off the Arkansas bullpen. Get into that bullpen and see if you can't replicate that success. On the mound for LSU, execution from Cade Anderson. I do think it'll be Anderson that gets the start. Regardless of what Arkansas's numbers say they do against lefties, Cade Anderson had a great outing against them back in May. Execution on the mound. For LSU, you have to throw strikes. I don't worry about that with Cade Anderson. I worry about that a little bit with some guys out of the bullpen, But the thing with that is you have anyone you want out of the pen. Everybody is rested. I love the fact that you didn't see Evans or Cowan or Newt or Myers or any of those guys in the Super Regional. The last time Kason Evans had a full week off like that, a week plus, he threw 6 shutout out of the bullpen and struck out 12 in a winner-go-home game in the regional. I like potentially having that first out of the bullpen. I love that Chase Shores just looked the best he's ever looked in an SEC LSU uniform heading into this game. I love that, as a matter of fact. The other thing, LSU has got to control the Eloy brothers. And I know they aren't hitting up to their standard in the postseason right now. And everyone else has really picked up that slack, like Logan Maxwell, like Davalon, like a guy like Helfrich and Kojil. But you're not going to keep the Eloy brothers dormant forever. They're going to heat back up. LSU had a great plan against those two earlier in May. They held them to 5 of 22 and punched them out 10 times, and they only drove in 3 runs. That was massive toward you winning that series, and it will be again towards you winning this game in Omaha and any other rematch you have with Arkansas in Omaha subsequent to this one. You take your chances with the rest of that lineup, and they are hitting at an insane clip right now. And that's what makes it scary, because you know the Eloy brothers aren't going to be held down all the way. The other thing is strikeouts have to be huge. That's what LSU did in that series. They came up with massive strikeouts at massive times. We talked about it on yesterday's show. The one that immediately comes to mind is in the 3rd inning of Game 2. Arkansas is finally mounting a threat. The bases are loaded, and Vahiva Eloy is at the plate, and Anthony Ianson punches him out. LSU, specifically Anderson and Ianson, have been so good this year with runners on base. That has to continue, and you're going to have to exploit the strikeout. If there is a hole for Arkansas's offense, it is strikeouts. They have struck out in a quarter of their bats on the season. 514 Ks. You took advantage of that the first 2 games. Ianson and Anderson combined to strike out 21. You have to do that. So how does it go? Who wins? I think Zach Root is pitching his best baseball of the year. Like, he has been incredible. He is carrying a 0.69 ERA into Omaha through 2 postseason starts. He's at a strikeout per inning. He has been dominant. This is what Arkansas envisioned for him. It's finally happening. But I like Cade Anderson more. Cade Anderson is going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. He will most likely be fast-tracked to the major leagues. Like, I don't think it's ridiculous to think that he couldn't be up there at some point next year. Not that I don't think Zach Root can play Major League Baseball. I do. But I think Cade Anderson is kind of ready-made to do that right now. And LSU has lost 2 starts all year that Anderson has pitched. You have a major league ready guy going for you, in my opinion. And I'm going to take that guy every time. I think it's a very low-scoring game. I think LSU pulls it out and finds their way into the winner's bracket. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. One more note on LSU baseball to close that AFR next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel, where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Louva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
So LSU had practice today, obviously, ahead of their game with Arkansas, and they might have been wearing the coolest freaking shirt ever. One of the great parts about going to an event like this, College World Series, things like that, or college football playoff, any of that, is the gear that you get from like your team sponsor. LSU's in case would be Nike. LSU, the whole team was wearing purple Nike shirts that across the front said the LSU Tigers are here to win, and then under it, just do it with the swoosh. That might be the coolest shirt I think I've ever seen, and I want one. I hope that gets put up for sale. That is beautiful. Like, I don't I don't really wear T-shirts all that much to like sporting events anymore. I would so wear that. That thing is beautiful. Like, God. I feel like you got to wear that getting off the bus. I know they're going to be in uniform when they get off the bus, but I feel like you got to find a way to wear that getting off the bus.
I could see you rocking that with a pair of jorts to the box.
No. I don't own a pair of jorts.
Well.
I do not own a pair of jorts. I wore a T-shirt to the Marvel game of the regional, and I determined, I think it was the first time I wore a T-shirt to an LSU sporting event since 2012.
What do you wear? The polo? You rock the polo?
Mm-hmm. Normally just a collared polo shirt. Yep, every time. Just a clean, good clean look. Easy E in the YouTube chat said, ask Musso, what are you cooking for the game tomorrow? Probably nothing. I probably won't eat till it's over because I'll be too nervous to eat while I watch the game. That happens actually quite often when they play big games. I just don't eat until it's over. That'll probably happen again this weekend. That shirt's awesome. I want one. Put them up for sale or just send me one. I don't care, but I want that shirt. It's really, really freaking cool. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Be here back on Monday for AFR.
AFR.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When it comes comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.